Hello, everybody. Welcome to Government Secrets / Political Vigilante. Yeah, Jimmy's probably on live now. Whatever, it's all good. This really is a Government Secrets recording session. Let's see. Boo, 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 boo. Boop, boop. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Blue. How can everybody see me? Hello, Steve Trezick. Hello, Melissa H. Hello, 7 people watching. Ow, bow. Do 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 boo do boo boop. Share this out on your social media, ladies and gentlemen. Wait a minute. Where the bird it? Hey, what's up, everybody? There we go. That's what we need. Hello. No, that's not it. Oh, it is Friday, August. Excuse me, September. Wow. It is September 4th, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Oh, advanced mode. No, not. No, God, why do they? Oh, YouTube. Oh, YouTube. Nope. I find this so easily yesterday. Hello. I'm listening, but need to make a late dinner, you know? But where's Lee? We're waiting on Lee. Burr, burr, burr. Boo, 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 boo. You. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, where was this the other day? We just had this on the stream. 9 likes. Ah, here we go. Oh, we just had it. You just had it, YouTube. God. I don't know this one. There. Show me this one. There we go. All right. There's 10 likes. Spread it out there. Hello. What happened? When government lies, the truth becomes treason. Jesse Ventura. Hello. All right, everybody. How's everybody doing? Graham is getting it going, and they usually wait a few more people before they start. Yeah, I'm just waiting on Lee actually to join in. I know Jimmy's live right now, but this is the best time for Lee because he's on the East Coast and all that. So. What's up, Sam Dean? Here's a government secret. All the protests have been infiltrated by CIA, FBI, and NSA. Yep, and private intelligence as well. That's their MO, their modus operandi, ladies and gentlemen. All right, all right. Boo, 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 boo. I don't know. We'll check. Well, I don't know. Lee something might have come up for Lee. I haven't heard from him. So, I we'll do a show either way, folks. It's my penis. um. All right, so Lee's running a little late, but no worries, folks. No worries. No worries, ladies and gentlemen. Hit the like button. All right, citizens of Gotham. You're the best around. Nothing's ever gonna turn you down. How's this sound and everything? Everything sound good? Let's see. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Share this on your social media. Let the world know. Somebody disliked this vid. Well, that's cool. Someone's always got to be a dick. According to another unconfirmed, and trending social media reports, the Su-35 jet crashed in Guangxi, an autonomous coastal region in southern China bordering Vietnam. Oh, wow. What's that? Wow. Tyra, dead air. I'm flipping out. Yeah, sorry. Lee got a little tied up, so he's just running a little late, folks. So I'm just putting some stuff together. Please share this on your social media. Let's do it. So if you want to support the show, you can do a super chat right now. I'll answer your questions. If you do a super chat, hit the dollar icon button. You support the channel, and I absolutely will answer whatever question you have. And also, if those come in while Lee and I are talking, Lee and I usually do government secrets for about an hour, and then I'll answer all the super chats after Lee and I talk. Oh, people are erroneously spreading a story that Taiwan shot down the Chinese jet. Right. That's the CIA. Just watching Marianne Williamson on Jimmy Dore. Oh, cool. Cool. Mm-mm. All right. Hey, there they are. So when you support the show, like Fireboy, I put it on the screen like that. We go shave your knuckles for justice, which is a crazy thing I started saying about a year ago. It makes little to no sense. It's just a silly thing that I say. Somebody did a super chat like a year or so ago, and I went, oh, boom. And I looked at my knuckles and I was like, man, I got a hairy nails. Shave your knuckles for justice. That's how it started. So thank you so much, Fireboy, for supporting the show. If you ever want a British socialist perspective on world events, don't be afraid to ask Graham. Only too willing to respond, mate. Well, Derek, what do you think? Tell us right now. They officially said that Taiwan didn't shoot down the plane. Well, that's good to know. That is good to know. Boo, 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 boo. So I saw this. Yeah, here's something Caitlin Johnstone said. Let me share this with everybody. I just want to read this as we wait for Lee. Oh, there he is. Hello, everybody. Let's bring Yo Lee.
Sorry, man. Dude, this was my punishment for making fun of you last week.
Well, I thought it was like, I was like, oh, I know what this is. He's added up all the 5 minutes that I've been late and said, here you go. I'm cashing these in.
Well, now you know why I tend to text you an hour before, because I myself figure I may forget at some point.
Well, you texted me like, was it last night or way early this morning? You're like, are we still good? And I said, yes. But that was like a while ago.
True. Yeah, that was when I was thinking about it. Between then and now, I've put out, because most people don't know this, we're at RT with Redacted Tonight. We're on a 1 week on, 1 week off schedule. So in order to have a show come out every week, I tape 2 shows in 1 week, which means I tape 2 shows on a Thursday. And people don't see the second show until the following week. But anyway, between when I texted you and now, I've produced and filmed 2 Redacted Tonight, so kind of out of it, but
That's fantastic. And I texted you. I was like, "Hey, man, are you surfing?"
yeah, in DC, yeah, some good swamp surfing. We, you just get on the back of the Crocs in the bayou there, and it's a good time.
Just surfing the lies of lobbyists.
Yeah, you could just well, rivers of bullshit, honestly, are the best. That's the best surfing because the tsunamis, it's full on tsunamis of bullshit.
When you catch that bullshit wave the right way, you just gotta, oh my God, it's beautiful. Beautiful.
Exactly.
Well, whose turn is it to start us off?
I have no idea.
Right.
I know I have one story. I don't know how many you got in your quiver.
We usually get through 2, maybe. And then there's
we always aim for 10. We get through 2. So.
Yeah, we're always like, I got 10 ready to lock and load, and we get like 1.5, and then a riff starts, and then gotta go.
Exactly.
So, all right, yeah, we took last week off, so we'll just do it, ladies and gentlemen. Weapons. Oh boy,
weapons of mass destruction.
It's the Weapons of Mass Destruction, the WMDs of the Government Secrets Podcast, episode 8. I get a new sound effect.
This one, I like how they're kind of like snowflakes. Each intro is slightly different. That one kind of morphed into like a dying cat at the end. Like the guns were trained on cats.
I love doing it because I love hearing specifically your interpretation of it. That was sort of like an air raid siren was what I was trying to do, but you heard dying cats.
I heard dying cats. Then again, that's just what I'm hearing just in reality now all the time. I hear dying cats, so I don't know.
When you wake up in the middle of the night, you hear a dying cat.
Could be a me thing. So the story I had was, and I like to switch it up a little. This one starts out not in America. The new-ish labor leader in the UK. I think he's been in that position since around June. And in order to do that, they had to basically force out Jeremy Corbyn because Jeremy Corbyn was equivalent to the Bernie Sanders threat. He was a threat to the establishment, threat to the corporatocracy. And they did that. Here they used the good old McCarthyism against Bernie Sanders. And in the UK, they used the anti-Semitism because, why not just add a little flavor to McCarthyism, So they used that on Jeremy Corbyn, which was, of course, and this is coming from a Jew, complete horseshit. Right. They basically, because he believes Palestinians should not be shot for standing around. He is apparently anti-Semitic. I was unaware that's how that's defined. So they
real quick to interject. That would mean then all this organization, I believe called Break the Silence or Breaking the Silence, forget, of ex-Israeli soldiers who have come out to say it's awful how we're treating the Palestinians. We've all been brainwashed. So then that would make that organization of ex-Israeli soldiers anti-Semitic.
Oh, absolutely. Jesus. They are founding members of anti-Semitism. I mean, they are white supremacist Nazis. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's this completely ridiculous thing. And actually, I'm going to get to the point here in a minute, but one of the internally inside the Labor Party, much like with the Democratic Party here, text ultimately were leaked, emails and texts showing that internally they were trying to undermine Jeremy Corbyn when he was Labor leader. They were trying to make sure he didn't become prime minister, meaning his own party wanted him to lose because he was not a corporatist. He was.
Sounds familiar. Has that happened anywhere else? Has anyone else done that?
Why does that sound familiar? Why is that?
It's like, sounds, I don't know, the last 2 Democratic primaries, I can't put my finger on it. The Podesta emails, like literally, did they just copy and paste the Podesta emails and just replace Bernie with Jeremy Corbyn? Is that
it's good they're learning from us, It's nice that we can give back after all these years to our UK brethren. So they forced out Jeremy Corbyn. They now have this new guy named Sir Keir Starmer, which is far too many R's for a name.
That's not a real.
It's incredibly difficult to say if you are Sean Connery. Sir Keir Starmer. But
Yes, Mrs. Mother Party.
So Keir Starmer is one of his little secrets that is, I guess, fairly public. It's not that secret, but I don't think he likes talking about it, is that he's a member of the Trilateral Commission. The Trilateral Commission, along with they're still around, but along with the Powell memo, they, in the 70s, created the kind of think tank, the thesis idea, the mission statement for undermining democracy in the U.S. and return and other countries as well, Japan, UK, a few others, and returning it to kind of an oligarchy, a rule by a tiny elite few. And the Trilateral Commission, founded in 1973 by, I believe, David Rockefeller, who at the time was also the head of Chase Manhattan Bank. And they founded the Trilateral Commission, which they'd called a discussion group, which I love that term.
Well, yeah, and a clan rally is like a pajama party.
We just put these pajamas on wrong, and the holes were in. This hole we're supposed to pee out of is over my face. I don't know.
Whoops, every time we do a barbecue, a cross goes up in flames. Doinks, not again. Like.
Exactly. So they have their pajama party. This was a discussion group. And they put out a paper, which you can still read. It's been leaked online, called Crisis of Democracy, mid-1970s. Oh. And it basically said, oh no, our societies are being overrun by all of these people voting. And it's really fucking shit up. It's like they vote and then they literally get like a representative into Congress, and then that person literally feels some sort of need to do what those people wanted. And it's just made governing fucking hard because these people are getting what they want. And they're demanding things like transparency and legality and all these things.
Gross.
It just makes my skin crawl. And so literally the paper said, like, here's what we need to do. And some of the ones that have always stuck with me is like, well, we need to go back to when the media would just repeat what the governing elite said. They wouldn't ask all these questions. And they, then give, ways that can be done. And sure enough, here we are. And now 90% of the media is owned by a few corporate conglomerates that can decide everything that's said. And basically, most of your mainstream media are stenographers for the State Department. So they've succeeded in that regard. Another step they said needed to be taken was to universities have become this bastion of leftist thought and progressive ideas, and kids are thinking their vote matters and shit like that. And so we need to purge all of these leftist and progressive professors and departments and things. And they succeeded in that as well. I mean, even just studying humanities has shrunk down to like a tiny, arts and humanities have shrunk to a tiny percentage of college students. And now most of them are getting business degrees. So those are two that stuck with me, but basically it was a how-to get the American empire along with other countries back to, an oligarchy, back to a ruling class that could easily decide what happens in the world. And Keir Starmer is one of the few members of parliament who is a member of the Trilateral Commission.
What a wacky coincidence that this discussion group of the 70s has basically fulfilled their promise 40 years later.
Yeah, and a lot of people, Noam Chomsky will also often point to the Trilateral Commission, which he, unlike me, was around and talking about it when it was happening. When it started. And the Powell memo is another one. Supreme Court Justice, I can't remember his first name, Powell, wrote a memo saying, we need to get back to commerce, deciding what is done in our society rather than all these fucking people with their democracy.
Oh Lord. I mean, it's literally like you read these things and you go, you see everything that's happening today and you go, these global elites have been mapping this shit out forever. I mean, like, it's unbelievable. Like you just feel like this is like we're in an ant farm. And like, again, when everybody's like, and I'm not saying don't vote. I'm always like vote. There's always especially local ballot measures and all those things are important.
Yeah. The down ballot stuff is much harder to rig. And,
yeah. But you really go, oh, okay, cool. We're an ant farm that they're playing with. Like,
hey, ant farms are pretty fun until they all eat each other.
Right. Yeah. It was like, that's another thing that because they are so ramping us into a civil war. And they're ramping us into a civil war because they want to keep this is their whole MO. And they obviously, this document, the Trilateral Commission and the PAL document all talk about what's happening now, of keeping us divided, distracted, and afraid. Like if everybody woke up to the fact that this is actually class warfare that we're in, not a race war. I mean, yes, there's racism. I'm not discounting the racism, but this is class warfare. I mean, and
right. That is one of the greatest threats to capitalism, to the oligarchy, to the hegemony, all of it, is if we were to unite as, hey, we are all the people who are not millionaires, who are not billionaires, and we're all fighting for a common cause. That is one of the greatest threats to that system, to the exploitation we live under. And so as long as they can keep us divided, and, they can do it in a lot of different ways, but as long as they can keep us divided, then they can continue to govern easily without much threat of it.
Yep. That's what they're doing. I mean, that's like, they have such a fantastic machine in place. And, certain, like the Fox News cog is very good at keeping white America terrified. They're coming for you. They're coming for you. And now Trump is not even dog whistling anymore. He's just saying the blacks are coming to the white neighborhoods, arm up. And nobody.
I'm glad he's doing that. I was like, I didn't quite hear him. I wasn't sure. And then luckily he finally spelled it out. I was like, are we being racist? I can't hear you clearly enough. And he was like, yeah, fucking racist. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
There it is. Cool. I wasn't sure. It was a little vague. And this is, if these, and you and I have talked about this before on this show, but like, the Second Amendment people that took over the Capitol building or whatever it was, courthouse in Michigan, over a mask, like if they got that upset about what Edward Snowden revealed 7 years ago, I mean, that's the personal freedom they should be mad about, not having to wear a mask and wait 2 months to get a haircut. Like if they woke up to the fact that, Amazon and these billionaires are making hundreds of billions of dollars during a pandemic when everybody else is struggling to get by, then it would change their tune. And they have to it's become so clear. And they want us all mired down in the dirty little details, when if you step back, it's just very clear. If we all get together, it's over for them. If the 99% get together on any issue, it's over. People just will go whoop, they will just swallow up the Hamptons and they will just like go on. And there'll be 1 million people surrounding the Capitol building or the CIA building or Boeing or whatever, or any of Wall Street, and just go, no, it's over, man. You're done. It's lights out.
Yeah. And speaking of Snowden, I don't know if we can make this our next topic, is what happened with the NSA this week, the federal ruling that Snowden was completely vindicated. And granted, they're doing it a few years late because the NSA claims they've stopped that program. I'm sure they've got other ways of surveilling us, but this was one of the grandest government secrets to ever be revealed. Edward Snowden revealed, and he was trashed by the corporate media largely, and obviously trashed by our government. They're still persecuting him to this day. If he were to step foot out of Russia, they would fucking arrest him and torture him and all that shit. And here we are, Federal Appeals Court this week said, Yeah, NSA's bulk collection of your phone data was illegal. Absolutely.
That is so. I want to see. I want to bring. So are we moving on to this segment then? Pretty much.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Let's do that. Government secrets. Segment number 2. Who let the dogs out? What? Who put the laugh in there? That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, how's this for a government secret? Did you know there's like 15 versions of Who Let the Dogs Out? Completely unconnected. They like basically it was like a sport. There's a great podcast. I don't remember what. I don't remember what it was. 99% Invisible or something. But yeah, it was 99% Invisible. But literally back before that came out, it became like a sports thing, like sports players at college. There were certain colleges where they would stand in their huddle and they'd go, who let the dogs out? And then separate DJs and musicians, one down in like the fucking Caribbean, came out all simultaneously, disconnected, not working off of each other, but working off of that sports chant. And probably they hear people say it on the street after they see a sports player do it, come up with different versions of the song. And if you listen to this podcast episode, like, it's so bizarre because they're completely different, yet they all at some point are like, who let the dogs out? And you're like, how can there be 15 versions of the same fucking song that are not connected?
If I understand you correctly, you're saying that Who Let the Dogs Out is a psyop.
Yeah, it's MK Ultra. I mean, absolutely. Yeah. It turns out the CIA let the dogs out. I don't know if you knew that. They let the dogs out. Yeah.
Makes sense. Now it makes sense. Now I get it. So I'm gonna bring this the tweet that you're referring to up right here. On the multicast. There it is. So that's what Edward Snowden tweeted out 2 days ago. 7 years ago, as the news declared I was being charged as a criminal for speaking the truth, I never imagined that I would live to see our courts condemn the NSA's activities as unlawful and in the name of ruling credit in the same ruling, credit me for exposing them. And this is the ACLU. He was responding to this tweet. Breaking: a federal appeals court just ruled that the NSA's bulk collection of Americans' phone records was illegal.
Boom.
I mean, when I first read this, and I even talked about 2 days ago, the ruling which confirms that we have what we've always known as a victory for our privacy rights. Talk about this was such a massive government secret and all these things about all of our privacy that has been eviscerated over the last, especially the 20 years really since 9/11, the Patriot Act. How do you see this playing out? Because what do you see the effects of this ruling?
Well, if you read the longer article, they say they basically claim there's no impact because the NSA stopped doing that in 2013 or something, and then they also stopped collecting phone data in 2015 or whatever. And I think it's largely horseshit. I mean, they may have stopped collecting because they realized that it was actually useless. It's useless to collect everyone's data. It's just too much fucking information. And so it is possible that they have stopped specifically that, but they're still monitoring people that they have no fucking right to monitor. They have no warrant to monitor them. The FISA court is a rubber stamp 99.9% of the time. They just let them monitor anyone. So they're still illegally monitoring people, but they might not be doing the mass millions of people surveillance, which is why they get to claim, hey, we stopped that program. We're cool now. So the article claims there's no fallout. I mean, nobody's going to get locked up for this.
No. And it's like the other thing too, what's also happened is a way that they can, legally claim that they're not doing it anymore is they've just farmed out this to Facebook and folks, and so then it's like, hey, a private company just needs data to help you buy the products you want to buy, which is part of it. But there's no way the NSA and the CIA are.
Listen, the way they entice you to agree to that is sometimes it's just too powerful. They're like, do you want to put cat ears on your photo? If so, you have to click yes. And I'm like, I gotta have the cat ears. I gotta have them. So
everybody see what you looked like 20 years from now. Oh, we just got facial recognition from 2 billion people. Fantastic.
Oh yeah, wasn't that a Facebook thing that went viral? Like, see what you look like. It was like we've collected everyone's face.
We got everybody's face. I was like, wow.
Dude, I just got a new phone, and when you turn on the new iPhone, it's like, hey, we're gonna set up face unlock, and we'll just look at your face and unlock your phone. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that, but I couldn't find the button or whatever, so I could tell it was because it like shows you it's like reading your face, and I'm like ducking out of the way of my own phone so I can be like, don't read my goddamn face.
It's bad enough they've got my thumbprint from this phone.
Did they make you do that, or?
Yeah, they made you do the thumb phone thing from my. So now it's like the NSA can just put that on any. Oh, Graham Elwood was up in the book depository again.
We found your thumbprint inside the anus of a man who's been known to do horrible things. What? So, yeah, here's a shell casing with Graham's thumbprint on it. Oh, well, that's weird. Why was this shell casing that you own in this man's ass? Just listen.
I was thinking CIA, but you're just making I'm in some weird sex club. That's your scenario. Ooh, here's a strap-on dildo with Graham's thumbprint. This is an odd pairing.
Listen, anyone can fall for the honeypot, Graham. Don't think you're immune.
Oh,
but so there's probably not much fallout. I did like though that Biden did an extensive 2-hour speech on this ruling and how horrible NSA's powers are and the unlimited surveillance. I did like that. That was pretty exciting to see.
Yeah, he talk about he's going to pardon Snowden and Chelsea.
Yeah, pardon Snowden, pardon Chelsea. Yeah, he actually said he had them with him, and he brought him out from backstage. It was amazing. And they endorsed him. It was huge.
And then he sniffed Edward Snowden's hair, which was a little weird, but I don't care as long as they're all pardoned.
Speaking of hair, did you happen to flip on CNN today? Biden has dyed his hair and eyebrows bright blonde. It's fucking bizarre. He's like trying to become Trump. It's so fucking scary. And here's the thing. I looked up old photos of Biden. He was never blonde. It's not like, whereas Trump was blonde and now is gray with dyed blonde, Biden is now blonde, having been a brown-haired dude his whole life. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
What's he gonna get, like tattooed eyebrows next? Like what is he doing?
It's like, is that really his last hope of winning this thing, is just to try and look as much like Trump as possible?
And there's some idiot in his team going, this will get us a 7-point bump or something. And what, with a poll from a 90-year-old that watches CNN or a 93-year-old that watches Fox or whatever, you're like watching those two.
We have 3% of the population says they would absolutely vote for you if you just had like Hulk Hogan style doll hair on your head. Then that's what they said.
We just focus grouped it, and you're going to get a 9-point bump if you get a neck tattoo. So
get the trilateral commission symbol.
Oh God, it's just like these weasels are in just every filthy connected. Oh God. All right. Is there more we want to discuss with the good folks at the NSA and how they've become more of a non-for-profit that just does like worker co-ops now? They're not monitoring us.
Yeah, they quit monitoring. They actually just help out food, not bombs, mainly. That's all.
They do a lot of Habitat for Humanity stuff. And
they have vegetable recognition now, where you just hold a vegetable up and they know what it is, and they get it to everybody around the world. It's really nice of them. It's really cool.
No, I want all of our listeners and viewers to go to the NSA's farmers market. It's really cool. There's face painting. It's like stuff for the kids. It's really like they're not those bad guys anymore. You know what I mean? They're doing good work. They're really doing good work.
They just tried a little LSD and it all changed.
And then the CIA's joining them, like Gina Haspel's in a dunk tank. It's so fun. It's so fun.
Dung tank or dunk tank? Because if it's a dung tank, I'm cool with it.
Either one. It really depends on how they set it up and what the codes are, but it's like a state fair. So check that out. All right, let's go to Government secret segment number 3. Wow, there was a horn in this one.
Oh, glad the horn showed up. One of these days, listen, folks, if you give enough super chat donations, we're going to get real sound effects.
Yes, we really need a lot of money for the real sound effects.
We get a trumpet player. Just be one sad guy sitting behind you with a trumpet.
We want to raise enough money to get an actual live trumpet player. Just to do just, and then at the beginning of Government Secrets, he'll do the horse racing, and then Lee and I will get ready. It'll be fantastic.
Oh man, it's gonna be huge.
It's gonna be huge. Government Secrets horn.
While Graham looks up the next topic, everybody should make sure to subscribe, and you should check out, I believe we're on all the podcast platforms now. We've decided to not be a secret podcast anymore, and we're on iTunes, I believe, Stitcher, Spotify, all those good places.
Yes, this is our 8th episode. So if you're just finding us now, go back and listen to the back catalog, and there's all these great ways to support the show that help the analytics. So liking it, subscribing it, downloading it, even if it's like, oh, it takes up a lot of hard drive space in my phone, just download it, listen to it, and then erase it or whatever. But all those numbers help. And as we can grow the downloads and the listens and to this show, then we can, do more stuff with it.
And anything you can do, like play it for your mom while she's sleeping, that's another hit. Like that's another count for us. So just like leave it just next to her bed, quietly going. That'll help us a lot.
Like put it by there so they're sleeping, and then they have the phone, and then take like a selfie, and then send it to them later so they know you were watching them sleep, because it's not creepy at all.
Yeah.
And you got to watch if you have a roommate,
especially a right-wing roommate. If you're a right-wing roommate, definitely do this.
Or if you have a Vote Any Blue Will Do roommate, you absolutely have to do this to them. You have to let them know you watch them when they're asleep, and you make them listen subconsciously.
Ha ha, motherfucker, you're going to start caring about people and you won't even know why. It'll be so deeply entrenched in your subconscious.
Vote third party. Vote third party. Vote third party.
Care about people that die from our bombs.
Yeah. Don't just lock yourself away in your liberal suburb. No. All right. So here's my government secret. I always like to, you know me, I like to do a historical speak.
Although I'm waiting for us to run out of those because, there's only so much history.
There is. And the United States government only did a handful of
the other thing is I know that historical ones will go from like how Malcolm X was killed down to like George Washington once wore shoes made by child laborers. Like it's gonna get more and more obscure because the big ones will be taken.
Yeah, we're gonna have to dig deep for just like all of these, like the man who really made Washington's wig. Like, yeah. All right. So I wanted to talk about, since we're obviously the first segment we talked a little bit about Trilateral Commission wanting to infiltrate labor unions and strikes and stuff like that. And we talk a lot about labor. You and I are both, socialists, just like Jesus was. And I want to talk about, because we've said this a lot, and it's a recurring theme, but it makes sense, is how they, meaning those in power, the government specifically, have infiltrated movements. We've talked about they've infiltrated the Black Panthers and the on both sides, the Black Panthers and the KKK. And I have no doubt they've infiltrated the Proud Boys, and they've infiltrated Black Lives Matter as they've done today. But I want to go into the history of that. And
the problem is when they infiltrate like the KKK and stuff like that, they tend to just be like, right on.
Yeah. The KKK is like, we're down, brother. And they're like, all right, you'll be happy to get locked up by us, but that's cool.
Like it was later leaked and proven that the FBI knew that some group, not necessarily a big one, but was planning on shooting occupiers in, I believe, Colorado, and they just didn't tell anyone and didn't do anything about it. I mean, they didn't end up shooting them, but they had a plan to like snipe occupiers, and the FBI was just like, yeah, it's all fine. That's cool.
Wow. God. Boy, we came across this dangerous thing. I'm sure they knew, like, oh, a bunch of white nationalists are going to show up in Kenosha with AR-15s. Cool.
Yeah, you didn't think they knew that was coming. These are fucking idiots on trucks with Trump signs driving down the highway from 100 miles away. They're like, should we tell anyone? Nah.
100 not, and I'm sure they would, like, their websites and their Facebook pages were all like, we're gonna go square, make things right in Kenosha. Oh, and they just let that slide, just like,
well, it says they're gonna make things right. That sounds positive. I assume they'll hand out ice cream and such.
Maybe they're gonna do a bake sale.
Yeah.
Maybe they're gonna do, face paint and balloon animals and stuff like that. So here's my history of the Pinkerton Detective Agency. They're good folks. So this is just off of Wikipedia. They were a detective agency started by a Scotsman, Alan Pinkerton, in 1850, and currently it's a subsidiary of Securitas AB. So they're definitely today they're not getting any intelligence money at all. And they they foiled a plot to assassinate Abraham Lincoln. And then I don't know, weren't around when he went to that play. But I want to focus on the labor strikes of the 19th and early 20th century. So the late 18th, so after the Industrial Revolution hit in the late 1800s and into the early 1900s, there was a lot of big labor strikes. And it's we'll do this on future episodes, the government secrets of just like all the labor movements and how the entertainment, art and was very pro labor and all that stuff. So, but specifically, businessmen hired the Pinkerton Agency to infiltrate unions, supply guards, keep strikers and suspected unionists out of factories, and recruit goon squads to intimidate workers. One such confrontation was the Homestead Strike of 1892, in which Pinkerton agents were called on to reinforce the strike-breaking measures of industrialist Henry Clay Frick, acting on behalf of Andrew Carnegie. Boy, you hear all these great names: Rockefeller, Carnegie.
I know. And just like today, all these big names ultimately kind of whitewash their name by becoming philanthropists. So, Carnegie, that's where Carnegie Mellon University gets their name, right? Because he spent all the money on it and everything. And they all succeeded in this. I mean, the fucking Koch brothers are called philanthropists. And Pierre Omidyar, I looked at his Wikipedia today. He owns the billionaire that owns The Intercept. He's called a philanthropist.
Yeah, the guy that bought The Intercept, and that's when The Intercept started nosediving into neoliberal town.
We actually never. Well, hold on, but we should mention this because I forgot back with the Snowden files. 90% of the Snowden files we've mentioned on a previous show, I think, have never been released, and they're owned basically by The Intercept, and they give no reason. They like the closest they came to a reason is like, oh, we don't have the money to keep researching this stuff or whatever. So 90% of what Snowden could be revealing about our government is just owned by The Intercept and basically been captured. And as far as I know, nobody will ever find out.
Philanthropy.
But
that's what all these guys did. Rockefeller, Carnegie, they built hospitals and museums and schools and all this crap to whitewash all the evil crap that they did. And so this is the Homestead Strike of 1892. So the industrialist Henry Clay was acting on behalf of Andrew Carnegie. The ensuing battle between Pinkerton agents and striking workers led to the deaths of 3 Pinkerton agents and 9 steel workers. The Pinkertons were also used as guards in coal, iron, and lumber disputes in Illinois, Michigan, New York, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, as well as the Great Railroad Strike of 1877 and the Battle of Blair Mountain in 1921. They're now owned by the Swedish security company Securitas AB.
Was Blair Mountain, one of them was the one where literally U.S. military aircraft drops bombs on the on the laborers. I think it's the only time the American military has ever dropped bombs on their own people.
They did. They bombed in Philadelphia too. They blew up.
Well, the move bombing, right?
Yeah. So this was, I think you're right. Let's talk about this one. The battle. So this is the Battle of Blair Mountain, was the largest labor uprising in United States history. Weird. I never studied that in school.
Isn't it funny? I don't recall this getting much of a mention from Mrs. Metcalf.
You know, when I was a kid in the 80s and I just watched the news every day, how Reagan was going to make America better by crushing the air traffic controllers union, we weren't studying this. Weird.
Yeah, you know you're going to get a good lesson from the history teacher when they just had like a framed photo of whichever president was in office in the room.
He
just presidency. Yay.
Great. You respect the lies of America. So the largest armed uprising since the American Civil War. The conflict occurred in Logan County, West Virginia, as part of the Coal Wars, a series of early 20th century labor disputes. No, Siri, I'm not talking to you. She's going to kind of, those labor disputes were wrong. The Pinkertons are good people or whatever. No. Andrew Carnegie. Dissident. Here's what I have on Andrew Carnegie, a philanthropist, gentleman who only helped the world. Graham Elwood is a socialist communist.
Carnegie Mellon, known for giving workers reach-arounds.
Graham Elwood's thumbprint was on a dildo. What? So it was part of the Coal Wars. It was a bunch of coal labor disputes in the early 20th century in Appalachia. Up to 100 people were killed and many more arrested. The United Mine Workers saw major declines in membership, but the long-term publicity led some improvements in working condition.
And another fact about this that people should realize is when they say 100 people were killed, and it hardly, you know, in the mainstream media back then, it hardly got any coverage, and nowadays it hardly gets taught. These are the type of people that killing them doesn't really matter, which is where the term Black Lives Matter comes from. Is like Black lives are killed and people don't act like it's a big deal. Now, I'm sure in that 100, there probably were some Black people, but mostly in those mines was immigrants, because they would get off the boat in Ellis Island and someone would walk up and say, listen, you're new here, you have no money, you're going to be destitute. Would you like a good job that'll pay you every day and give you credit to the company store, and we give you a house? And the person's like, sure. So these people that didn't speak English often from, various countries, just largely immigrants, would go work in these mines. And so when 100 of those die, those are the okay kind of people to die. Like, killing them is not like killing, a white landowning male or something.
Right. It would never be in the ground in a labor fight, and this has always been, and even today, it doesn't matter, if poor people get killed for whatever reason. It just like, oh, sorry. I mean, we have tent cities, but so this is what specifically happened on the 5 days in late August or early September 1921. Some 10,000 armed coal miners confronted 3,000 lawmen and strikebreakers called the Logan Defenders, who were backed by coal mine operators during the miners' attempt to unionize the Southwest Virginia coal fields when tensions rose between workers and mine men. 10,000 coal miners picked up guns and said, we want to be a union. And this is what happened. The battle ended after approximately 1 million rounds were fired, and the United States Army, represented by the West Virginia National Guard, intervened by presidential order. I mean,
so our own army fought our own citizens.
Yes, and this is the headline I'm bringing up. This is aviators will drop bombs on marchers. Do you see that?
This must have been back when occasionally the media would report on American citizens being harmed.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, you see this map here. This is a newspaper from 1921 that shows how the fighting happened. This is a war on American soil. This is how they treated labor unions, and this is and of course, you'll notice the familiar thing as everybody's like looking to arm up on either side in this country. Just be careful, because look at how the police are reacting today, right? It's always a peaceful protest, and then the cops had no choice. Like we've been hearing this just for since May, since the George Floyd protest. I mean, we always hear this, but it's since there's way more protests these last 3-4 months. That's how it always, peaceful protest. And then the cops had no choice. No, the cops want you. They're pushing you to react. So that gives them the justification to unload on you. And
yeah.
The American government look, they did this in 1921. So what do you think they're going to do today now that they have the Black Hawk helicopters and the police departments have militarized police, and we've had cops and federal agents scoop people up in unmarked vans? I mean, what do you think's going to happen?
Yeah. And so there's a long and impressive history of workers standing up against incredibly, difficult odds against them. The people with the larger gun power and more powerful and richer and everything, and these workers have stood up anyway against those forces, which is incredibly impressive and brave, and many times they were massacred. To give a little promo for Eleanor Goldfield's new film, she went to West Virginia and talked to people about the long history of the labor fight against against the mining companies, but also she talked a lot about, the movie talks a lot about fracking and what fracking has done to West Virginia, and mountaintop removal has done to West Virginia. And it's an incredible both historical film and happening today. What's going on today is truly incredible. These companies, one of the things that blew me away is these companies, I don't know when they first decided this, when they first tried this, but they pushed forward the idea that when you buy when you buy property, you only own the surface level. You don't own, quote unquote, the mineral rights, what's beneath you. Because all these gas companies realized that people own land that they wanted the oil from underneath. And so they needed to change the law. They needed to come up with a new law that said, yeah, when you buy your house, yeah, you've had your house and you've lived there for 40 years. It doesn't matter. You only bought the surface. You didn't buy beneath. And so literally they would just come into these areas and say, oh, we bought the mineral rights. And they dig down and destroy these areas, turn their wells to fucking flammable liquids and all kinds of crap, and just destroy these areas because they claimed, oh, well, we own everything beneath you. I mean, it truly is just horrific. Anyway, the movie, but as is the title, it does give you some hope. The movie's called Hard Road of Hope, and it's at hardroadofhope.com, and it's won a bunch of awards. People should check it out.
Well, yeah, and it's like that movie touches on a lot of things that I mean, like you look at West Virginia today, and I'm sure that movie touches on that a lot. I mean, they have 50% unemployment. They have all these contaminated water because of what you just talked about. You have, I mean, Paula Jean Swearengin, when she ran in 2018, I mean, there's an interview with her mom. I forget that documentary that showed AOC and Amy Villela and everybody running. And her mom, Paula Jean's mom, goes, she's like, I'm terrified, man. There's a lot of bodies up in those mountains. These coal companies don't play around. And this is their history of just like people disappearing or having an accident up on the mountain because they went against the coal. And I mean, this is the thing that really, there's no bold leader out there to, I think it could be somebody. I could have been Bernie. Obviously he quit. I would love to see, I think Jesse Ventura could do this, but he doesn't want to. But there's somebody out there that could unify and get, the working class whites and, many of whom are conservative, or maybe they're Trump supporters or not, but like not the like the wingnut Trump culty people. I don't know if you ever get them to switch their brains, but there's a lot of people out there that if you really came in with a very serious pro-labor movement, which the Democratic Party hasn't done in 80 years, you could unify this country. You could get people together, but they can't have, I mean, the ruling class, the 1%, they can't have that.
Well, this may be a good segue to talk about the Movement for a People's Party that just had a little convention online, which everyone can still watch, even though it's not live anymore. Cornel West is getting tired. He's been on for the past 48 hours, and
5-day long marathon.
yeah. But you can still watch the convention stuff on YouTube, peoplesparty.org. And anyway, I thought some highlights were Graham Elwood and Cornel West and Chris Hedges and Jesse Ventura and Eleanor Goldfield.
And you, I mean, like all of us, it was the coolest thing to see that. I mean, you got Marianne Williamson saying, I'm going to vote for Biden or whatever. Okay, fine. But like,
you're going to have a little of that. You're going to have a little of that.
That's fine. Whatever. Like, I don't think that undermines what they're doing, but that's like all the people involved in that. Nina Turner was there. I mean, it was just impressive.
I thought Jimmy Dore really choked. I mean, he couldn't, when push came to shove and the time clock's running down, he didn't have it. But
yeah, he doesn't have his talking points down. He doesn't have a clear message.
No, Jimmy was great, but yeah, everyone should check it out.
Yeah, it's cool, and I agree. Like the People's Party, and some people are critical of them, and some of the criticisms are legit. But we need something like that. We need, and I don't know how it's going to get done. I don't know how, because, and it's got to stop trying to like convert the vote any blue will do crowd, because they're just as nuts, almost as nuts, but as the MAGA hat people. So you got to actually come up with a thing that goes after the independents and the 100 million people that don't vote because they feel like there's no choice. They're not represented and nobody cares about them. Everybody likes to voter shame that block as, oh, they're lazy and apathetic. And it's like, no, most the people who say that are usually college educated liberals in nice cities with white collar jobs. And they're like, no, these working class people are like, doesn't matter. I voted for this guy, I got screwed over. I voted for that person in the other party, I got screwed over. So who cares? Nobody cares about me. And I think that's what this really needs to be.
A lot of Trump voters have been duped into thinking he's that guy, which,
sure.
There was a massive void of someone to speak to those class issues. And Trump has done it. He's lying his face off, sure. But he has
there's no counter narrative to it. That's the thing. There's no real populist progressive. And like you say, he filled that void, and then there's nobody to go, actually, no, he's full of shit. He's a billionaire. Here's a real populist workers message and with actual plans, rather than just, I'm going to make America great. Everything I do is great, 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 great. We did it. We won. We're number one. But like policies, it was Bernie, but he just loves letting the Democratic Party cheat him and then quitting.
Hey, I like, watching bugs flutter out my window, and that's my thing. His thing is watching the Democratic Party cheat him. So,
Yeah, we shouldn't judge. It's just hobby.
It's a hobby. Well, everyone needs a hobby. I mean, in these crazy times, you need something that makes you feel good inside. His is being railroaded by the Democratic establishment.
Yeah, you watch birds. I surf. He's like, oh, I love watching myself get railroaded, and then I say nothing. I love doing that. Yeah. So moving for a People's Party. So that's and
it takes a lot of years to get good at. I mean, it took him a long time to get really good at it. So
to start a movement, get all these people rallied, and then go, I got to take off.
Go on out.
Good luck. You guys figure this out. I gotta run.
Listen, good luck with that. Things are getting a little spicy. I gotta go.
I gotta go write some tweets. So, all right, I guess that's the final segment here. There's that, and we rolled it into, like Lee said, go to peoplesparty.org and get involved. Many of you already are, but get involved. So, Lee, I think that's our show, unless there's anything else.
No, man, sounds good. Thanks for being here, even though I was the one who didn't show up. But thank you. Everybody can check out my stuff at leecamp.com. I've started doing a lot more web exclusive videos on a lot of breaking news, and that's all at leecamp.com. And my free comedy special, which you can watch right when you're done watching Graham, is like I said, free at leecamp.com.
Yes. And then of course, if you're just listening to this podcast, please go check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Graham Elwood. And of course, GrahamElwood.com. You can follow all my social media I'm revamping my store, grahamelwood.com, but there's a lot of great ways to support what I'm doing. And if you just go to grahamelwood.com. So that's it. GovSeeks episode 8. Lock it down. Put it in the books.
Meow, meow, meow.
Cats with guns. That's what the show's all about. All right, dude. Well, thanks for taking time today, and we'll talk soon.
See you soon, man.
All right, man. Lake Cap, citizens of Gotham. All right, let's read some super chizats. Chizzy chizat. Yeah, they called it a battlefield. Hey, truth to tweet. Hello. Kent State was also a thing. All right, so all the super chats are not in StreamYard. All right, I'll go find them. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Like, share, and subscribe. We've got 149 likes. Dimitri OG, shave your knuckles for justice, ladies and gentlemen. You can support the show the way Dimitri did. Just $1 or $2 helps. How would Sean Connery say, "You're a little pushy"? You're a little pushy, my friend. You're stepping on my toes. No, that was yes, Mr. Smarty. You're standing a little close. No, I lost it. I can't do it. I can't do a good Sean Connery. Sorry, Dimitri. I wish I could do better. Wendy Melly, what's up, Wendy Melly? Shave your knuckles for justice. Hey, friend, keep up the hard work. You got it. You got it. Vegan guns, kid. Vegan guns. Robert Pookie Ray. Hello, Robert. Shave your knuckles for justice. I'm starting to think governments don't serve and protect, but control and exploit. Yes, that could be like just what's Government Secrets about? It's a podcast about how governments don't serve and protect, but control and exploit. That should just be how we describe government secrets. Gina G, what's up? Shave your knuckles for justice. Good to see you, Gina. Thank you for coming on the show. I know I'm going the same time as Jimmy, and I try to not go at the same time as Jimmy because he's got a bigger audience, and most of you found me through the Jimmy Dore show. But Fridays, this is when we do government secrets. So also too, I forgot to say this about government secrets. If you're new to it, Monday, it will be released. The full hour video will go on this YouTube channel if you want to watch that again. And then the audio will be dropped on Monday as well. And then the segments I release like Monday, Tuesday, and sometimes into Wednesday. So we did 3 or 4 segments today. I'll release those as separate video clips on my YouTube channel and on my Rockfin. And you get it early if you're a Patreon member. At the $10 level. But Gina, excited to see you two at the Progressive Parody Palooza this Saturday. You guys will leave me in stitches. Oh yeah, right on. That'll be super fun. That's Joy, Savage Joy's thing, and Pat the Burner. So I love those folks. They're fantastic. Shave your ear hair for justice. Boom. John, let's see if that one's in there already. Nope. Conservatives love ministers. That's funny. Thanks, Graham. This was a blast. Very refreshing. Good. Love the show. Scrape epithelial cells with metal is progressive. Graham can single-handedly defund the police with his guns. You got that right. You got that right. All right. John Ward Jr., shave your knuckles for justice. First computer, 7 years old. First electric soldering kit was over 1,000 pieces. 8 years old. First chemistry at 9 years old. And police really want to target me. Really? I'm just saying. I know. It's crazy. Hello, Alan. Hello, Pat the Batman fan. How about welcome back, Cotter, for karaoke? Ooh, that sounds good. Didn't know you were vegan, Elwood. You got that right. Jimmy Dore show would be 45 minutes long if not for reading the super chats. Boy, I wish I had that problem. I'd be in a fancier studio. So hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Share this out on your social media. Boo 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 boo. All right, kitty cat. It's a little bit funny. All right, let's see if there's another little segment thing I was thinking about doing. Hold on. There was this article I think I had it on my phone. Hold on. All right. We got it. All right. Oh, no, don't do that. Irish French. Does Florida have a lot of nudist colonies? What are you guys talking about? Ooh, the like button. Hit that like button. Gabe Kaplan, the like button. Outstanding. Please sing with Sean Connery's voice. I'll do that. Yes, Mrs. Moneypenny. Remember, Highlander, I came from the planet Zeist. I was a bartender at a nudist colony for 20 years. Hilarious. Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching the Political Vigilante. So we've talked a little bit on the show about the Green Party, a lot of infighting. Howie Hawkins got the nomination. A lot of people within the Green Party didn't like that. And we've talked a lot about Jesse Ventura running. They were trying to get him to get drafted. The Green Party to nominate him. Then Movement for a People's Party has had it. He said, I'm not going to run, but the Draft Jesse movement at draftjesse.com, they're still fighting as well. They should. Maybe Jesse will change his mind. I don't know. But at least speaks to the fact that we're looking for somebody like that to be a true leader. So what is interesting, and I didn't want to spend a lot of time talking about the infighting of the Green Party because they're this small little party and the infighting is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So it's either private intelligence has probably infiltrated that party and are trying to deliberately divide it because of the power that they had in 2016. What Jill Stein did in 2016 was very powerful. She got over 1 million votes. And of course, the Hillary people are like, she helped Trump win. No, she didn't. The Libertarian candidate got 7 million votes. So the Libertarians took more votes away from Trump. And that notion that taking votes away, a lot of people vote Green. Not everyone that votes Green did it because they were going to vote Democrat and said no. They were like, I'm never voting Democrat. I only was going to vote. I don't vote Democrat. I only was going to vote for Bernie Sanders. So the Democrats weren't going to get my vote. So, but what's significant here is what just happened in Alaska. Green Party of Alaska rejects national candidate, nominates Jesse Ventura. Ventura. This happened September 1st. So they're going to put on the ballot, the presidential ballot in the state of Alaska, because we've talked about the Draft Jesse movement is trying to get him as a write-in candidate. And a bunch of states, 39 if I'm not mistaken, you have to get a certain number of signatures, not a lot of these electors, to put him as a approved write-in candidate, which just shows you how corrupt our system. Write-in candidate should just mean anybody should be able to just write a name in. And if enough people write that name in, that person becomes president, right? No. Another way to block it, because they don't want a populist. They don't want somebody that the people want getting in power. They want to handpick their puppets for the oligarchs. So, the Green Party doing this now, and it's hard. Like, the Green Party isn't even on every state's ballot, to my understanding. So the Green Party putting that on the ballot, which means Jesse Ventura could theoretically win the 4 electoral votes, I believe it is, in Alaska. That's big. Alaska's typically a red state. I'm almost certain they voted for Trump in the last election. But wouldn't you rather vote, especially if you lived in a red state where you're like, I live in a red state, and you're not a diehard Trumper, or you voted for him the first time and you're really disappointed in him, and you're just like, and if you just don't, there's no way you want to vote for Biden or Trump. Vote for Jesse Ventura, because this is interesting what they did. In defiance of the National Green Party, the Green Party of Alaska has drafted Jesse Ventura and Cynthia McKinney as their presidential and vice presidential nominees, granting them ballot access in the state. That's what's so critical. Because if you write somebody in a state where that name is not approved, it doesn't even count. Some states just allow you to write in. Some states don't even allow write-in votes, which tells you everything you need to know. A final poll was held by the party to choose what candidate would receive their presidential nomination, and Jesse Ventura won 50% of the vote. Robert Shields, chair of the Green Party of Alaska, had this to say regarding the decision. Ventura was an easy choice for independent Alaskans, and he's clearly the most competent candidate, drafting a proven way to make radical changes in the system. Drawing parallels to the draft Eisenhower movement of 1952, the Green Party of Alaska outlined the following in their official statement. Only once before in the U.S. history has an ordinary citizen been lifted up by the people and elevated to the office of the President of the United States. Over the next decade, the United States of America can emerge as leaders of the fossil-free world and end poverty globally, which America could do. If we had a real progressive in the White House and the whole country got behind it, we could do this. To get us there, we need strong leadership on all levels, and only a trained soldier working side by side with a seasoned advocate can hope to lead the campaign of waging peace in a world of war. Richard Idris, who we've had on the show twice from the Draft Jesse campaign, said this: the people for Jesse largely moved on from the Green Party after their national convention to work toward an independent write-in campaign for Governor Ventura. But we had always recognized an internal schism within the Green parties as possible outcome for their primary. Tension around presidential nominee selection has led to these sorts of issues within both Green and Libertarian parties before. Ventura receiving the state party's nomination thanks to an efforts of wholly separate movement further proves the case of his wide appeal. We've talked about it numerous times on the show. We've talked to Richard Idris, who was just quoted in this article. We've talked about the fact that Jesse Ventura is a Navy SEAL. Jesse Ventura understands local politics because he was a mayor and governor of Minnesota. I think he was the mayor of St. Paul and then governor of Minnesota. Minnesota's not a small state. It ain't Rhode Island. It's a big state. And he was an independent. It was huge what he did. And then he even said in an interview recently that, you know, after he got out of office, he was offered a job at MSNBC. Everybody wanted a piece of him. And when they found out what he was going to talk about, ending the wars and all this other stuff, they were like, nope. That's why he's on RT. Right? So Ventura, we've talked about this. He resonates with lefties like me, socialist, anti-war. I'm an anti-war, pro-labor socialist. That's what I would call myself. But he resonates with like libertarians. He resonates with the center-right people. He resonates with labor. You know, who's going to call him some hippie Marxist socialist beatnik? He was a Navy SEAL. He knows what war looks like. He knows how awful it is. And who on Fox News is going to badmouth him? He would pull a lot of red state voters. He would. Not to mention because with the Green Party, all of the environmentalists, and he can bridge that divide between the working class whites and the like environmentalists on the left. You know, the corporate media has done a fantastic job, especially Fox News, but MSNBC and CNN have done a fine job of making this like environmentalism or the Green New Deal is bad for business, right? That's what they always say. We need to it's bad for business. He could bridge that gap and show actually a Green New Deal gives us more jobs. He could bridge that gap. He could unite people in very unique ways. And the state of Alaska's Green Party recognized this. So going back to what Richard Idris said in this article, the Movement for a People's Party, Unity 2020, and the Green Party have all now actively sought to collaborate with and or draft the governor during this election cycle. Groups who draw support from Americans across vastly different parts of ideological spectrum. He just said what I just said. All these different groups, wide spectrum, but we're all sort of in agreement that we got to end these wars. There's a lot of conservatives that, I mean, like when I'm on Crosstalk with Peter Lavelle, he's a big conservative and he's very anti-war. That's why he has me on his show. Idris also added, we are eager to collaborate with the Green Party of Alaska moving forward during this election cycle while we continue our own push to secure write-in or other forms of ballot access for a Ventura campaign. There should be no more shaming voters into settling for corrupt and ethically compromised lesser evils. Amen, Richard. The people deserve a candidate worth voting for this November, and we're striving to make that a reality in as many states as possible. That's impressive. That's impressive. So if you live in the state of Alaska, vote for Jesse Ventura. Vote for Jesse Ventura. And you know what? If you are in charge of the Libertarian or Green Party or any independent party that already has ballot access, get him on your ballot. What if he won all these states? Oh, he won as a Libertarian in this state and a Green in that state and a People's Party and whatever. He was a write-in in this state. You just need the electoral votes. It doesn't matter what party. If 4 different parties put him on ballots, I'm telling you, I know it sounds like a crazy long shot. It's September. The election's in 2 months. I get it. It's a long shot. September. And I'm not saying electoral politics is going to, we all talk about this, electoral politics in save the world, but you want to talk about really shaking up the power structure and really opening up the doorway to real change? What if Jesse Ventura became president? What if he just won a couple of states? What would that say? I'm just telling you. I'm just throwing it out there. Jesse, people are putting entirely too much on him as if he were a savior, just looking to be let down again. Well, there's some truth to that. I mean, that's a fair statement. I'm not saying, oh, Jesse's the savior, he'll do everything. And there's so many more things that need to happen. A general strike is far more effective. I wish the NBA and all the sports leagues, the WNBA, instead of just not playing games for 2 or 3 days, would have just said, we're striking. We're done. We're shutting this down until our billionaire owners, because every sports team is owned by billionaires, pressure these local governments to get real defunding the police happening right now. We want these cops charged and sentenced, and we want massive police restructuring, refunding, and overhaul. We want this now. It would start to happen. So yes, I'm not like, just like some of the Bernie people, like Bernie's going to ride in on a white horse and save us all. No, and neither is Jesse, but it's significant. You want to break the duopoly? You want to shatter the grip that these two utterly corrupt parties have? You jam a guy like Jesse Ventura in there. I don't think Tulsi Gabbard or even Nina Turner for that. She was at the People's Convention, and I hope she leaves the Democratic Party. I just don't see them leaving the Democratic Party. They're still, I'd love it. That I just don't think they got the guts to do it. I don't think they want to seize the moment in history. They still want to be invited to the cool kids party. So they keep waiting. So in 2016, we'll wait. They had their opportunity. 2016 was the year. Cornel West and Chris Hedges said this. Bernie Sanders missed his opportunity in 2016. After the Democratic Party screwed him, and Bernie said, I'm running independent, that would have blown everything up. And he might have won as an independent. All the 100 million people that don't vote might have gone, I'm in now. He said, eat it. He said, suck it to the Democratic Party. And Trump's nuts. I don't want to. Hillary, Trump, done with it. Boom. Could have happened, but he didn't do it. Let's read some super chat, folks. Thanks for watching. Shave your knuckles for justice. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, 4-foot owl, shave your knuckles for justice. Thank you for supporting the show. Matt S. What's up, Matt? Shave your knuckles for justice. New setup is pretty slick. Thank you. I wanted to, I'm doing some traveling and I want to be able to do this show anywhere. Having that, I had a 65-inch monitor behind me at my old setup, which I dug, and I really was cool to have the graphics and stuff behind there. But then when I found StreamYard, that I can share the screens and all that stuff, I really dig it. And I appreciate hearing all of your feedback. This lighting situation is really better. I have just a ring light right on me, and I have my soundboard. So I try to pare it down, because I also think part of the reasons I was having a lot of sound and tech issues, I was maybe trying to do too much with Zoom and OBS and all this other stuff. So I'm glad you like the new setup, and I appreciate any comments or, StreamYard is really cool. I like that I can have your super chat on the screen right there. I like that where's that logo up in this corner. I like that when Lee was just on the show, we can do the split screen and then we can bring up the screen share. So do you guys because in my old system, I would have, those graphics come up behind me. And now I just have the article that I skim through. So tell me if you like both of those things, or if you prefer, because I could still get a monitor behind me. So thank you. Thank you for supporting the show, and let me know what you think, because you all have helped make this show grow. You've grown it. That's why I've had, better equipment and all that stuff, is because of all of y'all. Wendy Melly, RIP David Graber. We are the 99%. Oh, wow. I didn't really know who that was, but Graham, you're live at the same time with Jimmy, and Lee's redacted tonight. That's funny. Well, Lee, yeah. We just had Lee on the show, and this is the best time he can do it on Fridays, but we might find a different time. But what I do, if you missed this or you're watching Jimmy or whatever, the archive version of this will go up on Patreon at the $10 level. You can watch the whole live stream a little. I'll leave it up for maybe a little after this, but I give it to the Patreon viewers at the $10 level, and the audio at the $5 level. And I put the audio on Patreon or on Rockfin as well. Graham, do you use Plexiderm? You got great skin. No, I don't know what that is. CIA and corporations are already censoring social media. I've seen friends get suspended on Facebook for posting true facts about candidates, but white supremacists can organize the Kenosha attack. Absolutely. Because the white supremacists keep people divided. Calling out the corruption of the power, they can't have that. Keeping people divided, wanting everything polarized, that feeds their plan, man. Matt S, what's up, Matt? Shaving Knuckles for Justice. I'd love to have a political debate, but I can't think of anything. So just saying what's up. Well, thanks, dude. I appreciate the support and just saying you dig the show. And I also appreciate when you bring up interesting discussions and debates. It's really cool. When are we going to talk about the real conspiracy flat earth? Oh, Pat, dear Lord, are you high? Would you be interested in an offline political chat? I don't have a lot of time for that, but thank you. Yeah, I made an Epstein Trump comment today that vanished. Of course. I'm a beer drinking vegan. If Bernie ran as an independent versus the other two corporate parties, he would only need 35% of the electoral college votes to win. He should have ran independent. Of course. He didn't seize his moment in history. Love your work, Graham. I've got you covered on both Patreon and Rockfin. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It's really cool. Yeah, great ways to support the show. I'm going to do a karaoke song and wrap up because I got to, I'm hungry. Yeah, so great ways to support the show are obviously patreon.com/Graham Elwood. You get bonus content for as little as $2 a month. You get early access to stuff for $5 and $10 a month. For $25 a month on Patreon, we can do a video interview. I will have you on the show and we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. I've done it in the past. People really dig it. And that's $25 a month. And then Rockfin is $10 a month. It's blockchain cryptocurrency platform, which is fantastic. And it's the future. And I live stream every Monday for members. And for $10 a month on Rockfin, you get access to every content creator on the platform's bonus content, the premium content. Whitney Webb just started doing a show. We're going to have her on the show. She just started a thing on Rockfin. Dave Anthony from The Dollop just joined. Not to mention you've got Richard Medhurst. You've got Jason Burmis. You've got Kim Iverson. You've got Convo Couch with Fiorella and Pasta and Johnny and all them. You've got Ron Placone. You've got Nico House. You've got a lot of content. You get a lot of content for $10 a month. And because it's blockchain and they pay the content creators in crypto, you pay $10 a month, and then they give it to us our residual income through crypto. So it's a crypto token, a Ray token that they mine, that they create. So all the content creators, we're all owners of the platform, and you can just buy Ray tokens too if you want. So it's really cool. It's a really cool thing, and those are all. And then the great. Yeah, and then there's great free ways to support the show, which is obviously why I'm always like, hit the like button, because those analytics help. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel, hit the bell notification button, and then share my videos out on your social media. Those are free ways to support the show. Also, if you watch on YouTube, if you watch the ads all the way through and when you click skip ad, I don't get paid. So let the ads play all the way through. That helps. All right. Derek Marsh, what's up? Shaving Knuckles for Justice. Hey, Graham, check out the socialist revolution in the USA. You got it, man. Having one right here, baby. Vegan guns. Whisker. Looking hot as always. Thank you so much. Share the University of Alaska study on 9/11 and see how far it gets taken down. It was a peer-reviewed study, but can't have that info getting out. Yeah, man. God. Okay, they're talking Long Island iced teas. All right. I'm going to sing It's Not Easy Being Green, which I just feel like singing. Wait, no. How about a Sean Connery? Hold on. Let's get a Sean Connery song. I got a song. All right, hold on. Hold on. We're going to do I Want You to Want Me, the Cheap Trick song, as Sean Connery. Boy, I got a lot of ads on this. And then I got to eat, man. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Hold on. Hold on. $180 likes. That's all right. That's not bad. 115 current viewers. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I love this screen share thing. Love it.
Hello, Miss Moneypenny. I'm going to sing you a song, Miss Moneypenny. I want you to want me. I need you to need me.
All right, folks, that's our show. Oh, God. I've never done Sean Connery before. That was fantastic. We had a nice little show. 202 likes. All right, cool. I know it's a lot when Jimmy's live, but thanks for watching the show, everybody. Thanks for tuning into what we do. I don't think I'm going to go live tomorrow, but I definitely will be live Sunday, 3 p.m. Pacific time. And then, of course, Monday, I'll do the Rockfin exclusive for Rockfin premium members. So go to rockfin.com/Graham Elwood and join. You get an exclusive live stream. There's usually just a couple dozen people in there. And I'll answer any questions you want and do a couple segments. And we're trying to get Whitney Webb on the show soon because she's got a new article that's out that's pretty powerful. And also I want to promote her Rockfin show as well. So I'm glad you had fun. I'm glad you liked the new setup. Right on. You almost called me a priest. Thank you so much, everybody, for supporting the show. You're all making Gotham great again.
Shave your knuckles for Justice Highlander.